Sister Williams? There's a mic right there.
Yeah.
It's on. Yep, just go.
It's on?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. My name is Rotary, Charles Rotary. Thank you for being here. I'm just got some simple questions.
Sure.
I don't even have, economics is not my bag, right? But, Battlefield and Vallis, I want to put to you a suggestion that Libby's green peas, the price of it has a lot to do with the label, if I'm not mistaken. If you were to bring in green peas with the Libby's label and green peas without the Libby's label, with no label, the price of that green pea would be a hell of a lot less. That would give a person like myself, who is a senior citizen, fixed income, everything I need to spend has to be right on time. But I can get the same pea for less just because it's not got the label on it. Is that a fact, or I mean, you know, I've done some reading and I've heard that that's a possibility. Some co-op supermarkets in Europe have that practice. I'm not sure about that. You don't have to answer right now. I just want to ask my questions and then you all can. The young lady in the room here, I forgot your name, excuse me. When you say essential goods, what do you mean by essential goods?
Ask those questions. Can you just ask all the questions, then we'll give them a chance to answer?
Okay, right.
We are making notes of them, though.
Okay, right. You also mentioned in your address that the people in the business have to make a profit no matter how small. But if the people in the business kept the profit at a certain level, if you made $1 million 1 year, it seems to be that you want to make $2 million the next year. But if you were satisfied with the $1 million you made the first year, to my opinion, it may work out a little better. I've got one other concern. There's no one up there that dealt with recycling. Again, I want to remind you that there's a lot of people like me, senior citizens on fixed income. I want to do and be a part of programs that help the environment, recycling. But if I don't recycle in a different bag, then my recycle is left. Just because I don't have it in a different bag. If you put bottles and cans in a dark bag and trash, you still know where the recyclable stuff is, bottles and cans. So I'm forced to pay more to get another bag in order to get on the program for recycling. That's just a concern. There's no one here from the electrolyte company.
Yep.
I have a concern about that because I've been around a while and I've been paying what is called an energy surcharge. It was a fuel surcharge. It was told that it was done because they dug a pipe from Shelly Bay, Shell up to Weddingham, and was paying for that. But when my bill comes to me as a senior citizen.
Okay, sir. We have so far about 5 questions. and I want to give others a chance, I'll give these guys a chance to answer questions and
Right.
others to ask.
I'll
Is that okay?
I'll stop right here, sir,
Thank you.
by saying that the energy charge is 50% of my electrolyte bill.
Thank you. So we have several questions. I'll give the panelists a chance to go through them real quickly or concisely to hear some more questions from yourselves. The first one, I believe, was for Mr. Souza from Butterfield and Vallis in terms of name brand goods versus what I would call generic.
Thank you, Mr. Rowdy, for that question. What you're referring to could be called store brands or private label, and there are 2 or 3 that are available in Bermuda. When you get to a brand like Libby's, we're talking about what we refer to as national brands. And generally speaking, a national brand carries with it a bit of a premium. Its manufacturers usually manufacture according to certain specifications, and they will often, believe it or not, it's those same manufacturers who will manufacture private label for chain supermarkets in the United States. And as I say, a couple of those brands make their way to Bermuda. Bermudians have been in the business just about 40 years, and Bermudians have always been very brand conscious. And at times of recession, we do see there's a bit of a shift where Bermudians become more, shall we say, value conscious. And I would encourage every consumer to do whatever they can to take stock of their selections, where they shop, the purchases they make. Again, I've seen a transition to convenience. So the microwave oven comes along, and now we're spending premium money on convenience. Years ago, we used to get 5-pound boxes of chicken. And I don't even know if you can get it anymore because manufacturers don't like to make it because it's not profitable. But today, consumers are getting boneless, skinless chicken breasts that's individually wrapped. Well, you can't get much more expensive than that, and I'm not saying that you're purchasing that, but I think the word I want each of you to take home with you is choices and selection. We've got there are 10 club stores in Bermuda and 20-odd supermarkets, and they're all competing for dollars from a shrinking market. So the market's a lot smaller today. We've all read about the exodus of expats. And so that means less mouths to feed. So that means people like Mr. Zanol and ourselves, and I see the marketplace here, we have to chase fewer consumers for those dollars. So our job, I'm afraid, is really national brands, and I can't apologize for that. But I am happy to say that there are alternatives for each and every one of you. So just take a hard look at the choices that you're making, eating out. In the United States, can I continue? Or you want me to cut it off? Yeah. In the United States, the first year of the recession, one of the interesting things that came out was that people moved away from restaurants and began eating at home more, and they began eating at home better. So they traded up. So they spent less money on food at the end of the month, but it shifted. So they went to supermarkets, and instead of getting maybe a cheap bottle of wine, they got an expensive bottle of wine. So they traded up. So eating out can be very expensive. So again, making those decisions, the items that we select, that we choose, make sure we're making the wisest choice for our pocketbook.
Okay, thank you.
Could I just say a few words on that?
Mr. Ratley, and everybody, I would like just to say that in 43 years I've been in the retail business. In the 1970, 1990, we had a type of a recession, and we found out that we tried with some no-name brand and it didn't work. We kept always a name brand. And we find out that people might buy a little bit less, but they like Bermudians, like buy Hermas mayonnaise instead of the no-name brand. Saying that, we at Lindos, and I'm only speaking about Lindos, we have more than 500 specials every week. So if people come in and check the special aisle, they will save some money. And by all means, buy the grocery on a Wednesday, it's another 5% that you save. So I would say, personally, I like to eat rather 8 ounces of good food than 12 ounces of non-name brand. I might not know what is in there.
It's being polite. And for Ms. Peniston, the question referred to how do we know or how do we talk about essential goods or essential food items? How do we do that?
Thank you, Mr. Rattery. What do our terms of reference for the Price Control Commission did include essential goods and services. So at this point in time, we have focused on essential foods. That has been our focus for this part of the project. We will be moving on to other essential goods and services, and that is a question that we would like to put forth to the community as to what is considered essential goods and services. So that would be actually a question that I would revert back to you, so that we can make the next, after we're finished this stage, what are we going to move to next? What do you think is the next most important essential good that is making a big difference to your pocketbook right now, and you really have a concern about the price of that? So if anybody wants to take the floor and give us some recommendations, that would be great.
Thank you. And Ms. Fleming had a comment?
Yes, I wanted to say to Mr. Rattery, one of my concerns in even coming out tonight is to be sure that people understand that the message of high pricing, it's heard, and it certainly is heard by us. I think at Age Concern, I think the challenge is going to be the answers. And what I want to encourage the public is that in the free market economy, the consumer is actually the driver. So you are in the driver's seat, and your consuming patterns will determine what Mr. Zanol and what Mr. Souza actually bring into the island. The power rests with you. And if you change those patterns, they will have to adjust accordingly. So a lot of the process that we need to go through as a community is education about our choices.
Okay, thank you. Other questions? Someone's behind you, ma'am, sir. Yes, yes. Come to the mic.
Is it, okay.
Good evening, Mr. Richardson and panel. My name is Esme Williams, and I'm just going to address just one question, and once I understand that for one particular food item, then maybe it will help me to understand about all of the other issues that we're discussing tonight. Hellman's mayonnaise, and I talked to Anthony about this about a month ago at Francis Patton, just to you. But at Safeway markets in the United States, Hellmann's and at Walmart, Hellmann's mayonnaise can usually be purchased for $2.99 up to $3. Okay, here in Bermuda, within the last 6 months, I would say, Hellmann's mayonnaise has gone from $5.47 up to where it is right now, $7.77. By the end of this month, Hellmann's mayonnaise, I guarantee, will be $8 or less, whatever it is, okay? So I'm saying, when you look at that, Bermudians love Hellmann's mayonnaise. It's like you pick items that you know they're going to buy anyway. And so then the prices keep going. You can throw up a number, pick a number, any number, and that's what we're going to put on it. That's what it comes down to. I've gone and then you can go to various markets and you find Hellmann's mayonnaise, different prices. Some are more, 50 cents, 50 or 25 cents more. Another store is, maybe right around the same price. So I'm trying to get an understanding who determines that. And to me, it seems as though the prices go up more on those items that Bermudians are going to buy no matter what. And that's one of the things, that I don't understand. I wanted to go with that. If I would have had a black marker on the little slip of paper that said it's now $7, and it was at that time $7.02, then within a month it had gone up to $7 and, right now it's 77 cents. And that's less than a month. From February to where it is right now, it's $7.77. It's probably more than that now. Okay, so help me to understand why that happens. I wanted to put up that's what I was telling you. I was going to write on the little sign, ridiculous. You know, $7, I'm paying $7.77 because I don't want to buy any other mayonnaise. I want like Hellmann's, but mayonnaise, you don't like Hellmann's, right? Thank you very much. And so, you know, what is happening there? Who determines that?
Okay.
Okay, you got the message?
We got your message,
Okay.
loud and clear.
There you go. And as I said, Safeway in the States, so there was someone else said something about, you know, you look at the prices and you can gauge your prices and then you can determine shipping and all of that or whatever. Safeway, Walmart, $3.29.
Okay, thank you. I think Zeno has his hand up, so he'll have to do it first. Understood. I think the general comment there is that you can buy, in your instance, the Hellmann's mayonnaise for half the price that you buy in Bermuda. And why does it double between wherever it is in the U.S., for example, coming to Bermuda? And so Mr. Zeno has his hand up. I'm sure Mr. Souza also has a comment to make.
Mrs. Williams, I don't know what we sell the mayonnaise yet. Sometimes it's on special, sometimes it's regular price. I assure you the markup did not change in over 30 years. But saying that, Bermuda is a small community, 60,000 people. Walmart, Safeway, they buy more, just one supermarket, they buy more than what Bermuda does. So the big company like Hellmann's, when you buy 2 or 3 truckload container, the 50-foot container load, where do they get the better price? They will get probably the price half what we pay. And I'm not a wholesaler, I'm a retailer, and I can only say the markup is the same. So it doesn't matter, it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and 30 years ago. So it all depends what is going to land, the Hellmann's mayonnaise land in Bermuda. But I cannot tell you, a few years ago, Kraft is one of the biggest seller in Bermuda, cheese, mayonnaise, you name it. We were, a few years ago, and I'm sure we still are, Bermuda I'm talking about, the smallest account that Kraft had. So they say to you, you want to pay this price? It's fine. If you don't want it, somebody else is going to buy. This is reality. It happened with New Zealand meat. They give you one day to say yes or no. When we mention it's too high for a hamburger, top round, whatever, if you don't buy it, China is going to buy it. They pay whatever they want. So do we want the goods to feed the people in Bermuda? Yes. But we have to pay the price, trust me. We are not gouging the people. I'm talking for Linders now. We will not be where we are now if people will notice that we have too overpriced. We cannot fool all the people all the time. So I assure you.
Explain to me then, why has it been in the past 6 months that Hellmann's has risen, $2 to $3 or more than it was $5. It was less than 6 months ago. So I don't understand what's happened. What's happened that Hellmann's specifically has gone up from $5 something to $8, which is going to be the end of this month? I don't understand that.
I'll give you an answer on that. At least I try.
6 months.
Corn. You feed the chicken with corn. You feed the cows with corn. Farmers in the state for the last few years planted more corn because they were getting, last year corn was the highest price ever. Why? Because they use the corn for fuel. They create a shortage of corn for the chicken. For the chicken means eggs. Eggs are going to pay, if the chicken farmer pay more money for corn, they have to sell the eggs more expensive. The cow people, they go to the farmer with the cow, livestock, they have to buy corn, but it's a shortage. They have to pay more money for the corn, so they go up with the meat. The meat last year went up 17% in the state. This year it went up 12%. But I'm talking about mayonnaise, is made with eggs. Eggs are very expensive because the corn is gone up. Farmers spend more, they have to charge more. So it's all a trickle-down effect. It's very difficult. I understand food prices are high, but last year the inflation here, Eddie said 2.9%, 3%. In the state last year was 5%, the inflation. I know it's still cheaper than the Bermuda, but that's the reality.
Okay, thank you. There's a question at the back.
Yes, good evening. Panelists, my name is Mel from Santucci. I brought my ingredients with me to verify something. It's much more than what you thought, right? I had to use Salsamic Guru for my scalp. I was recommended to get to the pharmacy to get my Salsamic Guru. It costs $25. A smaller size than this, so I called my daughter overseas, okay? Walmart, right? And I bought this. It's a bigger size than what I got at the pharmacy, $25. This costs $7.99.
Yes.
I bought Pacific. I came and never said something about inflation, right? And Pacific, and he said we can have this demonstration tonight. I Pacific bought this for this reason, right? To show you, $25 for the small size and this one here, that beside Bermuda, right? This costs $7.99. I bought 3 of them, less than $25, ladies and gentlemen. They're $300 a month. This is a big one, $300 markup. Whatever it is, yes, whatever it is. Whatever it is, it's too high.
Yes, sir.
I did the stakes high. And when I came back to it, it's over 3 times as high. It's a shame. It's called greed. That's the bottom line.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a question?
Thank you. That's all I want to make the statement.
Okay, good. No, that's fine. We are taking notes, so we understand that. People are moving about their seats. Some hands are going up. We can do either, I suppose. There's a mic behind you. Okay.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
My name is Vijay from Otherham.
Put the mic a little bit closer, please.
My name is Vijay from Otherham. I like a cup of coffee. In February, I bought a small bottle of coffee. It was $9.07. I bought it in March. It was $10.33. There's a jump of 14%. I checked on the Google what coffee prices have done between the 17th of February and the 19th of March. They've actually dropped 6.81%. I wonder if somebody can explain why such a huge jump. This is 14%, by the way. The jump from $9.07 to $10.33 is a jump of 14%. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone want to, not necessarily answer that question directly, but talk about why prices would in fact jump in Bermuda or increase in Bermuda, whilst prices in overseas tend to be decreasing?
Well, if I may, I checked the internet and I saw that, and I wrote it down. Last year, meat rose 9%, coffee 19%, and I'm talking about the state now. And peanut butter, 27%. This comes from the computer, internet. And I did it today. Probably was 3 or 4 days ago they wrote this on the internet. So you're talking about, so I don't know what it is. But it's 9% coffee, 19% meat 9%, coffee 19%, and peanut butter 27%.
Sure.
It had dropped 6.81%.
Okay. Again, I think the idea is not necessarily to say, whose numbers are correct. I'm looking more for an explanation in terms of why is it that sometimes prices in Bermuda might in fact increase while prices in the U.S. decrease, or generally speaking, why do prices continue to increase?
I think that's an easy answer.
Sir, come to the mic, please.
My name is Ralph Adderley. I think the reason why the prices increase so much is because of some of the fixed costs for doing business here. In a recession, gains sort of work their way down, so people sort of, human beings go hit rock bottom. So companies lay off people, rents go down lower, and if you're seeing that in Bermuda, rents have gone down. Government has even eased off and given us, a break in payroll tax. Excuse me, I've got a sore throat. So a lot of things have been working in our favor in that way. But the two things that hasn't moved, and in fact to me is growing, is health insurance and electricity. Now the health insurance is going up with the HIP and the government stuff. That's going to probably get passed, and actually it has, and it's going to go up. I don't even want to ask my private health insurance how much they're going to go up, because it's probably going to be like $100 a month or $80 a month more. So when they're talking about food prices now, if you're trying to make a markup of $50 or $1.50 on one particular item, and health insurance alone is going to go up by $80, you've got to drag a lot of people off the road to come in your store to make up that $80 for that one employee. So that's a significant jump. In my store, and I run a store, my electricity bill used to range around $2,000, and in the summer months it'll jump to $3,200. Last year, after turning off walk-in freezers, ice machines, it still went in excess of $4,000. So electricity is going up real high. It doesn't make sense selling ice when you've got a machine there all day working, and you only sell maybe 10 bags of ice and you're getting $1 off a bag. That doesn't make sense because Belco is charging you more. So we have significant increases in just those two items. And if we were to get those two items under control, I think then prices in general can start, hurling steady. But to me, it's a useless debate going on until those two items alone come under control. Then it's going to keep spiraling, because it's no way. And in this industry, we are talking about, $1.50. Like, I ponder sometimes, and I scratch my head, can I charge an extra 10 cents an item? But 3 years ago, I needed a starter in my car. And I called up, and the guys, and the people told me at the car dealership, they said, oh yeah, you need a new one, just at your door, $999. And I was like, jeez, for a starter, man. So I said, hang on a second, can it be repaired? I don't know. I searched, and it couldn't be repaired here at United Parts. So I called overseas, just like everybody's calling about the other one, and the guy says, oh yeah, we can do that for you. $139. And I was like, $139? This sure the same car? And he went over. Then he says, you're right, I made a mistake. If you actually send the core in, meaning the old starter, then it's $79. And $999. And we can do that with the jewelry industry and a lot of other industries where the markups are significant. So yeah, I must attest, every week, when I started out 2-3 years ago, I used to be behind the till, I'm sweeping the floor, I'm pricing, I used to do everything. Now my major job is to watch the prices going up. Because every invoice I get, and it doesn't matter from who, it's going to go up every week from somebody. And again, everybody seems to me, all the other fixed costs, people are working with, but health and Belco is growing. And that's why I think prices go up so much. And to answer your question too, what the mean is, that's very good. And it happens with a lot of other issues. And not only does the price, like for instance, the mayonnaise, back some years ago, what they did also was they reduced the size. So they used to creep back an ounce. So sometimes you used to buy a 15 ounce and it would be for $3, or 16 ounce, now it's a 15 ounce. And they still hold that price the same. So they were doing that in the States too. And they'll take back an extra gram of cookies, and the bags of chips got smaller, and the bottle sizes. So everybody's doing all of this to try and hold the price points within that market. So there's a lot of things happening. But yeah, that's my answer.
Mr. Adderley, can I just ask a question? I would like to exchange the electric light bill for 1 month. $100,000 compared with $3,000.
Well, I'd like to take some of the panels off you while we do that. And that will work.
Excellent. There's a question on the left-hand side, on my left.
Yes. Good evening. My name is Pam Reed. I'm just wondering whether or not in supermarkets, sometimes you go to supermarkets and they bring in a shipment of goods and it's one price. And then they increase the price, but the ones that were already on the floor were already priced. You come and you see they got another price over that one where they've increased the prices. Is that allowed to happen? I don't think that's right. If it was, say, $2, and then you come the next week, that same can that was $2 now has a sign on it that says $2.20. And as an example, today I went to the grocery store and to purchase an item, and there were several of the things there. Some had a higher price and some had a lower price. I don't know whether they overlooked it or what, but I bought the lower price one. But the same item, one was $6 and some cents, the other one was $7. So of course I bought the $6 one. Is that
Sure.
Can they do, they do it, but is that ethical for them to do that if it already has been priced? And then they go, so it's not a new shipment. It's the same shipment, but they've increased the price of that shipment.
Okay, we can answer that, or we can address it. And again, it's not so much tonight to give an answer to every question, it's more to hear what the questions are, so we can, manage ourselves accordingly, and go from there. But does someone want to, look into give an answer, or something?
I will, and I assure you, Lindos, if we have a big shipment, say 50 cases or something, until we are down, if we have a new shipment coming in, until we are down to at least the last case, then we might change the price. But otherwise, we are not changing the prices. You are right, it's very unethical. If you pay $1 for why charge the customer $5 or $10? So you are quite right, but we don't do it until we are down to the last case or so we have to do it, or the last few. But you never see our prices double, lower and higher. So that's what we are doing.
Okay, Ms. Fleming, you have a comment?
I was just curious, getting back to the other, Asbin's comment and Ms. Williams and the other gentleman, did you buy that Hellman's mayonnaise? Do you have Hellman's mayonnaise in your refrigerator right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
But millions buy it, so it doesn't matter. They say, okay,
So
they
that-
buy it, so let's
Yeah,
jack it up, whatever.
And I did hear you, Asbin, but you did buy it.
I did.
Okay.
No, but once I checked around and I found it cheaper at another store. They had it on special for $5.99.
And sir, do you still have that coffee preference? Did you buy it?
Yeah, I still bought it because I like a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Sure, okay. Do you have a question, sir? Can you go to the mic? One thing that's going to be interesting, we're not going to talk about it in detail tonight, but it has come up, and because we are the commission, we can address it differently than it would be if it was done by a politician. And I do excuse, I see it's taught there. And that is this whole idea about consumer education. We have, in a preliminary sense at least, thought about that thus far, and there are some very telling comments to be made, and certainly I don't want to be critical about any individual person, but, and because I do know Ms. Williams, and I hope she'll take this in the right vein, you are classic. Because it now means I can sell many as high a price I like, and you always buy it. And the question that comes down to us as consumers, though, is at what point do we actually break it and don't buy the Hellmann's, or at least buy it less? Because that will, as someone said earlier, I forget who said it now, that will, Ms. Fleming said it, that will force, whether it be Butterfield and Vallis as an importer or Mr. Zonol as a retail, as a grocery store, to actually find a way to either drop the price or not sell it. That's a huge issue we have to do, though, in terms of our ability to choose and otherwise. But there was, there was one question here. You had a question, sir? Go to the mic. And there's another question over on the left-hand side after him.
Yes, good evening, panel, and Mr. Chairman. You asked the question that you were looking for other things, and as I rode my bike here tonight, I thought it's the cost of health care, to join my friend over here. As an employer and an employee, every year it seems like, 10, 12, 15%. The medical fraternity to the insurance companies to us, the end user. And I don't look at my physician and say, well, what's your cost to pull out my tooth or to fix my skin? You don't shop around. So there's something that is not competitive. If I don't like Mr. Zanol's price, I can go to Marketplace or whatever. There's lots of competition. But the hospital or medical fraternity, generally you're going to your physician, and when he charges you $700 or $300 for a momentary visit, I would like the commission to look at that, because it scares me where it's going. As a company, we've suddenly, You can change your health provider, which after several years, and as all of you know, that's a major thing to change your health provider. There's maybe 3 or 4 major ones that do it, and we struggle with it, and finally we shop around. But when you go to your doctor, your dentist, to the hospital, that's it, right? So maybe when you finish with the food and the electricity, maybe join hands on the health care. Thank you very much.
Excellent point. There's a question over on the left.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
For those people who are familiar with the E45 lotion products, it's good for newborns, stays away from all it's perfume-free, etc. And whenever I give a baby basket, that is my product that I always, you can guarantee you're going to get that from me. So it's usually expensive, and I know likely that the mother is not going to get it herself. So that is my contribution to the new family.
Yes.
My experience was, I went into town. Now, the Phoenix stores, there are many of the pharmacies. I bought the product because I was in town on Saturday for $28.50 for a tub of the E45 pump lotion.
Yes.
Okay? I went to Lindo's, because that's where I do my shopping, and I happened to look at the product.
Do you work at Lindo's? Sorry. Yeah.
I looked at the product, and because I was going to get more, because I usually get, I don't mind spending $100 for a new mother. And so I bought a whole bunch of items at the Phoenix for convenience. Went into Lindo's. The same tub was $15.26 for the same tub. I told the pharmacist, you've got plenty of items on your shelf, I will be back. I jumped in my car, I drove back to town, I put the bag on the table, and I said, ma'am, you saw me here earlier today, I've just bought all these items, minus the 2 little toys that I bought, I am returning everything. My initial credit card charge was $176 and a few change, minus the 2 items. They refunded me $151. I went to Lindo's and spent $92 and got everything I needed.
Wow.
And that is the same product in one country in 2 different locations. I spoke to the pharmacist, and she said she does admit that she gets her products from a good supplier. How is it that the Phoenix is not able to find out who on earth this supplier is and put those prices down so that newborns or parents of newborns can get such a product for the skin that is very sensitive to chemicals?
Well, I will say thank you. I will not ask Mr. Zano to answer that question.
Yeah. And one last thing. I don't care if his pharmacist got it after it dropped off the back of somebody's truck in somewhere in Des Moines, Iowa, and they put it in a box and sent it to Lindo's because we are benefiting.
Understood. I will not ask Mr. Zano to answer the question, but there's a question there? There's 2, okay, sorry. You're good, man. Yep, you're up.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I must say that I've had my questions answered because I've been on both sides of the coins, and my thing was coconut milk. Going to the store and wondering why the price kept going up and down because I'm doing a specific diet, and that was my one thing. So that was my thinking that all of a sudden they see me buying it, they must have put the price up. However, in listening to the panel, I had to make my own choice, and I no longer buy it. Mind you, the sugar content's too much for me now anyway. So when I was working, and I had the money to buy goods, it was simple for me to go to the grocery store and buy goods. And then when I was working, I was stressed out to the point where I was getting sick and I required health care. And funny enough, being redundant from my job has taken me back to the era where I grew up, where everything was handmade, where a garden was planted, where you made your own bread and things of that nature. So I believe in education for other choices. And it'll be interesting now from the perspective that I have, that I am so financially, well, challenged, but making do, that someone that deals with agriculture and someone that deals with holistic lifestyle can be added to the panel. Because I think we're missing those components that our grandparents before us survived over. And so I wanted to see if we can, support community gardens, us as a group here plant a seed, grow more food that's going to make us healthy. I myself have this high insurance bill, but I know now that I have to stay healthy to avoid the hospital. I can't afford the operation, so I had to make that choice to make my diet even better. I've lost 80 pounds in the meantime, so it had its benefits. In the beginning, I was angry, because that's a lifestyle that I've been used to living. So if you want to support me as a small business person and support other small business people in the community that are doing natural products, we're not having to go and buy the name brands as much. I mean, I like to treat myself to certain things also, and urbanists, we're on the island. People that are doing the botany, we say we want to get our young children involved, take them off the street and give them a shovel. And this is where my education now has moved back. I spent 6 months on a farm and watched children that were being rebellious change. We talk about us losing our tradesmen, well then bring it back. And then that helps the community at the same time. So just wanted to put forth some solutions from somebody being on the same side of the coin, and hopefully we got some support that way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, panel.
Say the mic. Don't go too far. Don't go too far.
I have a code. I like Barclays. I purchased Barclays from a local pharmacy. The price of Barclays, the small 100 milliliter bottle, was $8.05 previously. I went to this pharmacy, purchased the 100 milliliter bottle. It was $17. The 200 milliliter bottle that they used to sell for $12 was now $24. I questioned the pharmacy. They told me that the product was no longer available and it was no longer being shipped out of Canada. But they managed to get it off of Amazon. But the price increased a whole 100%. For people who have a cold, this is not even a prescription medication. So, Mr. Butterfield and Ballas and Mr. Zano, and for the panel, what about doing some sort of trade agreement? Like you have NAFTA, and like you have the European Economic Community, why can't we join with the Caribbean to get better buying power for products? I'm not understanding this. I think it would be a little simpler. I know that we have, you explained about the containers, and you explained about how they come over from the U.S., but what about some buying power? Has anybody looked at that? And also for the panel, I also have to purchase water. And I want to know who makes these arbitrary decisions. $80 for a load of water, 900 imperial gallons, suddenly went to
90
because, as the truck driver explained on the news, he has to pay for tires. So all of a sudden, my water has now gone to $90 because he has to pay for new tires or something of that nature. Who makes these decisions? Does the Price Commission, do these things get run by the Price Commission? Who do they have to go to a body in order to get this approved? I know they must, but who considers the welfare of the consumer? Also for the panel, what about when the cost of fuel drops? We never see a rebate when cost of fuel drops. It's always on the increase. So I understand that you, Mr. Butterfield and Ballas, your products are based upon, and you including your cost, some sort of shipping cost for fuel. But we never see a price adjustment. Do you just pass that price adjustment on to the reseller? And the reseller is supposed to pass it on to us? And Price Commission, do you monitor that?
Okay, thank you. What I'm going to do is, I am mindful of time. I'm going to take, there's one question. You have a question? Yeah, there's one question here. And then I'm going to actually give Mr. Simmons a minute or two to give a few comments. He's shaking his head no, but you will still actually give a few moments. We said earlier that you were coming to give a comment, so we're going to make sure that we do allow ourselves to hear your comment, but we'll do this after this question, please.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Cecilia Pitt, and I'm wondering whether merchants are obligated to give the consumer the advertised price. You may see something advertised in the Royal Gazette that day, or you may see a certain item on the shelf with a certain price, but when you get to the cashier and they scan it, and it's a higher price, then you have that argument. They want you to pay the price that has been scanned. Does the consumer have any, regrets? Not regrets.
I got you. Redress.
Yeah. To get the price that is advertised or displayed.
Anyone can answer? Mr. Riley?
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, the retailer is not obligated to give you the advertised price. They may have made a mistake. The law allows them to sell it at the price that they should have sold it at, but most will honor it if there's not a wide disparity, but there's no legal obligation for them to honor that price.
We're going to defer to Mr. Simmons. Oh, sorry, I have a comment too?
No, I would just want to say that we do honor the price if it's our mistake. But it does happen that in the newspaper make the mistake sometimes. Then we are not doing that and not giving. Now, we are not on the shelf, we have electronic labels. The only question we have from customers sometimes, oh, this one is on special for $3.99. And the smaller item could be $4.99. It's because we have people coming in, packing shelves, and they might put their own, two items the same, different size. But if you look at the UPC numbers, the numbers on the cans or the whatever, is they put it in the wrong place. So that's a mistake. So we try to explain to the customer, no, this is a mistake because somebody put it in the wrong place. So we do not give the lower price for that. But if it's our mistake, yes, we do give the items on special, at the lower price.
Mr. Simmons?
Yes, sir.
We are waiting with bated breath to hear from you. We knew you were at class, do what you do best.
This is an awkward position to be in because I'm sure you guys have run the world, talked about lots of great things, and I don't want to repeat.
Sure.
I don't want to repeat what has already been said, but I've heard your questions about prices and consolidation and so on. Maybe I can put it in a certain context. We live in what we call a market society. Everybody is free to buy, and some of these gentlemen up there are free to sell products. And so I hear people talking about regulating prices, but regulating a price is a difficult thing to do. It's almost like trying to stop people from speeding or trying to stop drugs from coming into Bermuda. There's a basic fact that operates in all markets, and it is this. People respond to incentives. Yeah. That Buckley's that you purchased was expensive to you, which meant that you are now going to economize on